All right, so before we jump into box and whisker plots, let's get started with a quick warm-up. The warm-up here, I've given you a frequency table, shows the number of days students in our class eat breakfast, and this is actually from my class last year. So this is, again, the same 44 students. What are the mean, median, and mode for the number of days of breakfast per student? So again, real quick here, what this means is that 3 students say that they only ate breakfast 1 day a week. 5 students say that they eat breakfast 2 days a week, and so on. So hopefully you had a chance to print off the notes that I attached out there. Go ahead and pause the video and work through calculating mean, median, and mode. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of plow through the explanation here, assuming that you've taken some time to try to figure it out yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out how many breakfasts this included. So I'm going to take the 3 kids that eat breakfast 1 day a week and multiply those together, so on down the line. So it ends up that there's 221 breakfasts in total, and there were 44 students. So I'm going to calculate my mean by taking 221 dividing by 44, so that's 5.02. Now my median and my mode. So my mode is the one that happens the most. So 19 students eat breakfast 7 days a week, so the mode is 7. Now my median, again, that's my physical middle number. So my physical middle number here is 5.5. And the reason why that is because, again, if I've got 44 students, I've got 22 on one end and 22 on the other end. And if we look here, I can see that I've got right here 22 students. 3 plus 19 is going to give me 22. So then if I add all of these together, I would have also gotten 22. So that means that my median is between 5 and 6. So that is where I'm going to get 5.5 for my median. All right, now let's jump into box and whisker plots. Box and whisker plots are going to use our median. We're actually not going to use our mean or our mode when we are dealing with creating a box and whisker plot. And if I'm being super honest, I really, in my adult life, haven't had to create box and whisker plots. But I have had to read them and look at them. This is the way my son's test data comes to me. I guess that's the most practical application that I can think of. I'm sure that there's other times that I've had to look at a box and whisker plot, but it always throws me for a second as I'm kind of looking at it, trying to get my bearings. So let's go through the information for a box and whisker plot. All right, the data set that we're going to start with is up here on the top. So go ahead and jot that down. You're going to need that. And I'm going to go through some definitions. The first one is range. So range is the difference between the greatest and least values. So you're going to take your max and you're going to subtract your minimum from it, and that's the range of data. So that's the numbers that this data would span, right? So there's 9 numbers between 20 and 11. So that's my range of data. Now, quartile is the 3 values that separate the data into 4 parts. So in order to do my calculation here for a quartile, I am going to start off by trying to find my median. So that's the same way we've looked at it before. So there's a couple different ways you can go through finding median. Again, we can just start kind of crossing these off, right? Cross off here and here and here, 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 here. And then that gets me to 15 is my Q2. So that's also known as my median. And then in order to find Q1 and Q3, so quartile 1 and quartile 3, I'm going to do the same thing. Now here I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pieces of data. So because that's an odd number, my median, I'm going to exclude this when I am trying to figure out my upper and my lower parts. So I'm going to exclude that middle number, and I'm just going to look at these 5 numbers below and 5 numbers above, and then I'm going to find the median of each of those. So the median of that lower part is my Q1, that's going to be 12. The median of my upper part, my Q3, is going to be 19. Now, interquartile range is going to be the difference between that third and first quartile. So I'm going to, in this case, do 19 minus 12, and I'm going to get 7 when I do that. All right, now let's take a look at a box and whisker plot and figure out how to kind of read through it. So when I'm looking at a box and whisker plot, I'm going to take a look at this first one just to point out a few things. So this first one here, when I'm looking at this, kind of to get my bearings, for this first one, female actresses' ages of Oscar winners from 1975 until 2004. So when I'm looking at this, 25%, this whisker here represents 25%. This little box here represents another 25%. This represents another 25%, and then this is my last 25%. So each of these 4 pieces represents literally 25% of the data. So I think that that's one thing that is hard for me to wrap around, is that the same number of people are in this whisker as in this little box here, even though the spread of the data is so much littler in this box compared to this big whisker. So that's just one thing that I personally struggle with, like getting my head wrapped around. These little stars over here indicate our outliers. And you know what? I just zoomed past that over here and didn't point out that I had a definition of an outlier. Outlier is a value that is substantially different from the rest of the data set, and they occur at the ends. There is a formula to calculate outliers, but I'm not going to worry about that for this class. Okay, so let's take a look at kind of the breakdown here. So again, this is representing each of the whiskers is 25%, and then this box represents 25 and 25. So there's our other 50%. So when we're actually creating a box and whisker, we were going to have our minimum value, our maximum value, and then we use those values that we get for Q1, Q2, and Q3 in order to map those out as well. And then our interquartile range is our difference, again, between Q3 and Q1. Our range is the difference between the max and the min. So here are the steps to go about creating a box and whisker plot. Feel free to pause it here and write those down. I'm not going to read through them because you can obviously read through them. I guess the one thing that I definitely want to draw your attention to is number 3. Make sure that you've got a scaled number line. So I don't want to just see the numbers for minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum. I want you to have like space it out. So count by 2s, count by 5s, whatever makes sense for the problem. But I want to see all of those numbers. I don't want to just see your 5-number summary. Alrighty, so let's take a look here. We've got a box and whisker plot, a data set. Now, this set of data only has 8 elements, and I chose it to be an even number because I want to show you the difference between this and the first example. Because this is an even number, we're going to deal with it a little bit differently. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to order my data in numerical order. Now, in order to find my 5-number summary, let's scroll up here. So my minimum is easy to pick off, right? So my minimum is 105. And my maximum is also easier for me to get. That's 150. Now, the Q1, Q2, and Q3, those are a little trickier. So I'm going to start with my Q2. That's the easiest place to start. So Q2, I'm going to have my lower quartile and my upper quartile. So whereas in my first example, I had one physical number that was my median, I'm going to have to calculate my median here by taking 128 and 133 and figuring out the average between those two numbers. So I'm going to do 128 plus 133 divide by 2. I'm going to get 130.5. So that is my Q2, is 130.5. Now, unlike what I did in the first example where I said we're going to just disregard that middle number, um, we're going to use everything, like everything in green is my lower quartile, everything in blue is my upper quartile. So now I've got to figure out my median of my lower quartile, what the part that's in green. So I'm going to do 117 plus 120 and divide by 2. I get 118.5. And then for my quartile 3, I'm going to take 136 plus 145, divide by 2, and I get 140.5. Okay, so now to make my box and whisker plot. So I'm going to actually move this down. All right. So my minimum is here at 105. So I'm going to mark that. So again, I scaled it. I chose to go by fives. So I'm going to mark at 105. I'm going to put a line here and at 150. And then I'm going to draw my box from 118 and a half to 140 and a half. So I'm going to go from about here to right about there. And then I'm going to put in a line at 130.5, probably right about there. And then I'm going to extend my whiskers to that box. So there's my box and whisker plot for this data. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to move on to is interpreting a box and whisker plot. Again, like I said, this is really what I've run into most in my adult life. So interpreting a box, here I've got a box and whisker plot that represents the scores on a math test. So what I'm looking at here is that if I'm looking at my entire class of data, 25% of my students scored between 55% and 70%. 25% of my students scored between 70 and 75. So 25% of my class was in that 5% of test scores. Another 25% of my class was between 75 and 85, and then the other 25% was between 85 and 100. So if I had 40 students in my class, that would mean that 10 students would have been here, 10 students here, 10 students here, and 10 students here. So that's literally what that means. Okay, so let's check this out. So what is the median score and what does this number represent? The median score for this is 75%. So that indicates that half of the class scored above 75% and half of the class scored below 75%. The next question is, what is the range for these scores and what does this represent? So the range is going to be my maximum minus my minimum. So 45. So this indicates that the scores varied from minimum to maximum by 45 points. So it's a lot, in my opinion, right? If the highest score and the lowest score varied by 45%, that's a lot of variability there. My last one, assuming there are 28 students in the class, how many scored between 70 and 75%? So again, if we're looking up here, 70 to 75%, that's 5% or excuse me, it's 25%, 5% in test world. And that would represent 25% of my class. So if there are 28 students, That's going to be 7 kids that scored between 70 and 75%.